can't go back to the Bay down 3-1.
Step back, three, on! A three, good! Down goes Green.
Payback, perhaps. You're messing with fire when you have the firepower that the Warriors possess.
Just for a tie from Durant. Curry, no! And the series is tied at 2.
So that was then, and this is now. To the playoffs as we speak. Jalen is back with me, and Stephen A. Smith is in Houston. You were there last night. Stephen A., I'll ask you the question that I opened the show with this morning. Do you believe the Rockets have a real shot now? Do you really believe the Rockets can beat the Warriors the next 2 out of 3?
No, I don't. I mean, I know that I'm in the minority, but I don't care. The fact of the matter is the last 2 of the next 3 games, if it becomes a 7-game series, are both going to take place at the Oracle. The Rockets' best chance would be to win game 5 and then close it back out in game 6, meaning they would have beaten the Golden State Warriors 4 straight games. I don't see them winning a game 7 at the Oracle. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm certainly not saying they don't have any chance, but, you know, a lot of people are getting asked the question now that the series is tied 2-2. You know, do you give them a realistic chance? Do you really see them winning the series? That's how I'm interpreting it. No, I still don't see them winning the series. I see the Golden State Warriors realizing what has ailed them, coming together and handling their business in a way they did not do in both games 3 and 4. And there are a multitude of things, or reasons rather, as to why they didn't do that.
You see Stephen A. try to give himself some credit? I appreciate that. He like, oh, I know I'm in the minority. Oh, you in the minority thinking the Golden State Warriors gonna win? Is that what you said?
No. What I'm saying is, as of right now, that's a good point. That's a good point. But as of right now, you got to remember, I'm in Houston. You're in New York City. So I'm running around.
What does that have to do with the question?
Well, it has everything to do, if you let me answer, Mr. Jalen Kellerman. The point that I'm trying to make to you is that in Houston, everywhere I go and everywhere I'm running into, I've been running into all of those noises. So when you ask me the question the morning after the Houston Rockets tied a series up and I got James Harden's family and everybody in my face talking about we gonna win, that's what I'm thinking about along those lines. People in my face in the city of Houston telling me, yo, I got a driver that's sitting there going like this. They were down 2-1. He was like this, 1 down, 3 to go. This is what I've been dealing with. So these are the kind of things that I'm talking about. I don't mean the world, but what I'm subjected to, Jalen Rose, in Houston, the morning after they tied the series up, that would be why I gave that answer.
Stephen A., in Houston, have you seen Klay Thompson? I'm still looking for him.
Hold it. Yo, Jalen, I got to tell you, man, it's kind of bad, man. And listen, we can look at it a multitude of ways. Obviously, you're trying to get Steph Curry going. Usually when that happens, he's struggling. But that was last night. How did that explain the first 3 games of this series? I mean, you got the lack of fluidity, the lack of spacing. They're not moving the basketball and sharing it. They're engaging in too much ISO ball, which is not what Golden State does. And when he gets the ball, he's forcing shots, rushing shots, etc. But at the end of the day, especially approaching a contract year, looking for max dollars. Not to say that he doesn't deserve it. He's a 3-time champion, one of the greatest shooters we've ever seen. But he has not shown up in this series. Right now, it's official. There's an APB out for Klay Thompson. We're all looking for him because we don't recognize this dude right here wearing number 11. That's not the Klay Thompson we know and love. He hasn't been in this series.
And you know what? We've talked a lot this morning, Stephen A., and I want to get your perspective on this and how the ball is suddenly sticking with the team that made moving the ball and giving up good shots for great shots. Just sort of took that to an art form in Golden State the last few years. Suddenly the ball is sticking. Whose fault is that and how does it change?
It's Steve Kerr's fault. He's the coach. And he is the man responsible for the system that he's implemented that's led to success, meaning 3 championships in 4 years. Yes, you're trying to get Steph Curry going. Yes, you're trying to disguise him defensively because he looks petrified to defend James Harden or Eric Gordon because he doesn't want to pick up fouls because that's been his MO in this series. We understand all of that. But in a quest to really, really get him going, you've sacrificed the health of the team in terms of doing what you normally do to its advantage. The only person that has any business ISOing is Kevin Durant because we know he can do what he wants to do when he wants to do it, okay? And as long as Kevin Durant is doing it, that would be different. But he's a guy that's a proponent of distributing the basketball, sharing it, keeping your fluidity flowing. What they've been doing outside of Kevin Durant has not been the Golden State Warriors, and the Houston Rockets have been all up in them just like they were last year. The PJ Tuckers, the Eric Gordons, the Clint Capellas of the world, they have been defending. and making life a bit hectic for that finesse team known as the Golden State Warriors. It clearly has rattled them, and they're going to have to get back to doing what they do in order to win this series.
All right, Stephen A. Smith believes Golden State will recapture the Magic in Oakland. His show starts live in 6 minutes. First Take, 6 minutes from right now here on ESPN. Stephen A., thanks a million.
For joining us.
Have a good show.
All right,
we will
y'all.
see you soon, and we will continue here. And a reminder that tomorrow morning, with enough to remember it, you're not going to believe what's coming up next. First, I'll remind you that you can download and subscribe to and listen to the Get Up podcast every single day. Anywhere you normally get podcasts, it's available for you. Get Up whenever it suits your lifetime or lifestyle. Meanwhile, it is a lifetime ago. It was 30 years ago today. You could argue this is the most famous shot, certainly among them in basketball history. Michael Jordan over Craig Elo to win the decisive Game 5, Bulls-Cavs, in a first-round playoff series that in many ways was the beginning of the Jordan legend in the NBA and the beginning of the Bulls dynasty. People forget sometimes it was the Cavaliers at that time who people thought were maybe the next young team on the come. And we are delighted to have Craig Elo join us for a couple of minutes here on Get Up this morning to remember it. And Craig, thank you very much, first off, for getting up so early out there where you live in Washington State. And second of all, for coming in here on how do you feel today as you think back 30 years ago from that moment, a moment with which you will always be associated? How do you feel?
I feel great about it. I mean, I'll tell you the truth. At first, it's a bad taste in your mouth, but I think as iconic as it's gotten for Michael Jordan and for his legacy, I'm included in it, so I'm not going to complain. That's a pretty good person to be associated with.
I love the attitude. Take me through the play. As you close your eyes and envision it, how do you remember the play?
Well, they called timeout, advanced the ball, and then we went out and we look at the set, and we call timeout, or we had a 20, so we go back over, and then Coach Wilkins decides to take Larry Nance off of the ball and then double team him with him in front. And so we went back out, and we did exactly that, but he went to his right, kind of got Larry off balance, and then went back to his left, caught the ball on the wing with a clear look from Brad Sellers. And I think in the double team situation, I was thinking and more relaxed than I probably would have been if it would have just been me and him. But as soon as he caught it on the wing, he was already coming back to the free throw line, and my momentum was going the other way. So now I'm running to this way to catch him, and I just get my hand up, but he stops on a dime and goes straight up, and I'm still kind of running. I went right by him, and as soon as I went by him with my hand, he let go of the shot, and yeah, it was the catalyst. I agree. It was the catalyst for the Chicago Bulls to go on to their championships. When you said it, I mean, everybody was calling us the team of the 90s.
No question. People forget, and obviously history gets written by the winners, and in that case, they're the winners. When it left his hand, did you know it was going in?
Not really. I mean, I when I was watching it, because I had to turn and look, I mean, it looked flat. And I think, he didn't have to rush, but I just didn't think it was going to go in because it did hit some of the rim. So that was what I was thinking. But, boy, when it did, then my signature moment with Gatorade and Nike and all of those is me going to the floor and Michael jumping up and down, fist pumping after he watched it go in.
Is there ever a day in your life that goes by that someone doesn't ask you about that play?
There's not very many days. I can go downtown Spokane and someone that's a basketball junkie will say, oh, yeah, as soon as I say my name, Craig Elo, and played this and that. And, yeah, I get asked pretty often, though. It's pretty fun to talk about, though.
Well, your attitude is outstanding, Craig. I'm glad that you can remember it in that way. It is a remarkable thing, and the 30th anniversary of it today. Thank you so much for getting up early and spending a few minutes with us today. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. You too.
We hope you'll get up with us. Are the playoff performances of Durant, Kawhi, and Kyrie rewriting the free agency plans for your team? We'll discuss. Plus, how Joel Embiid bounces back after a very tough Game 4. And will Game 5 against the Bucks be Kyrie's last as a Celtic? Get up with us tomorrow morning, 8 Eastern on ESPN.